My name is Dan Dorval, and I'm President and CEO of Dorval and Cherney Financial Advisors. I am an independent certified financial planner and author of my book, Financial Success for the Rest of Us, Reality-Based Financial Planning for Mainstream America.
Hi, my name is Leah Woodley. I'm an associate financial advisor with Dorval and Cherney Financial Advisors. Our conversations discuss what it means to do quality of life planning in all areas of your life.
Then it's that time again. We get to present another Quality of Life Nurse Award. This person has a wonderful name. I can't wait for you to introduce us to her.
She definitely does have a wonderful name. Our November Quality of Life Nurse Award winner is Leah Ingalls, and she was nominated by one of the nurses that we recently met with. And it was a glowing nomination of how fantastic Leah is in helping her patients and her peers. So we are looking forward to have a conversation with Leah.
Yes, I can't wait to hear from her. So let's go ahead and bring her on.
Well, we are proud to announce that you are our November Quality of Life Nurse Award winner, and we appreciate everything you're doing. Annie was the one that gave you a nomination, and she had glowing, very kind words to say about you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's such an honor.
So we usually just ask a few questions. The first thing is just giving us a little background into kind of your nursing journey and the types of things you do on a daily basis to help out your patients, your peers, things like that.
Okay. Um, I've been a nurse for 23 years now. I started out as a nursing assistant at Unity Hospital. And then when I graduated nursing school, I stayed on that floor, on the surgical floor there as a nurse. And it was probably a year or so after I was a nurse, I had a really sick patient that wasn't doing well, and I had to take them to the ICU. And I remember bringing the patient into the room, and there was this whole team of people there that were just jumped right in, and they all had their job, and they're trying to stabilize this patient. And I was like, well, now what are they doing? Like, I want to do that. Like, I don't want to go back to my other floor. And so I made the choice to change to ICU. So I went over to Mercy Hospital's ICU. I was there for 19 years. Absolutely loved critical care nursing. You're always learning. I love the acuity, the fast pace. Some days were devastatingly hard, losing a patient, helping a family through that. And it could be emotionally, physically, mentally challenging. But then you'd have those days where you'd see someone get better and do better, and the family's hugging you and tears. And I was like, this is why I'm doing it. Like, it was just so rewarding. And I was very privileged to have a couple people in particular, some women that were extremely strong mentors for me, most amazing, caring, kind women I've ever known. And so I would pick and pull pieces from things they would do in their practice and be like, I want to be like them when I grow up. And I tried to mold my own practice into that way. Um, but then COVID happened, and that was a devastating time for, I think, a lot of healthcare workers. There were so many sick people in the ICU struggling to stay alive. And for a while, they couldn't have their families there with them. And so it was just us there trying to support them and trying to support their family from a distance. And we didn't have enough supplies, we didn't have enough staff. And then you'd go home, and in the community, you'd hear people say things like, well, COVID's not real, or it's not that big of a deal. And it's like, well, all of us healthcare workers, we're living a very different reality where you're going home crying after shifts because you just couldn't deliver the care that you're so used to delivering and that standard of care. And so that was a struggle in my career. And probably, I think it was around 2022, I just kind of hit rock bottom. And I think for a lot of healthcare workers, like, burnout is real. PTSD was real with COVID, and I just decided I needed a change. So I found a new home in the electrophysiology lab at Mercy Hospital. I've been there for 3 years. It is very hard to change your career path after you've been somewhere for like almost 20 years and okay, let's try something new. And I found this amazing little niche in cardiac care that I felt like, oh my God, I really know nothing. It was very humbling to have to start all over. And thankfully, I was surrounded by an amazing team. I work with some amazing nurses, and not just nurses, I work with the x-ray techs, the monitors, and the doctors. It's just an amazing team that's helped support me into this new chapter in my life. And I'm just glad I took that leap of faith to try something new. And it doesn't discount all my time in the past. Those were great chapters also, but I think sometimes what you need in your life changes to bring more balance and bring more balance in your life, right? So that's where I am now.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that story, Leah, because, I've helped thousands of nurses over the years, and I've heard a lot of those similar types of stories about you work in an ICU, you're seeing very sick people. It's very difficult to juggle all of that, the emotional aspect and everything that goes into it. And then, of course, you throw COVID on top of it. And
Right.
there was a lot of burnout. And there were a lot of nurses that left the profession. It is awesome to hear that you were able to make a transition to, somewhere else that's fulfilling and satisfying and rewarding. I appreciated your comments about the thoughtfulness and the caring because Annie put that in your nomination about how thoughtful you are. And for a lot of nurses, why don't you talk a little bit about just how nurses support each other and try to make healthcare is tough, right? Because you're dealing with sick people. They're not at their best most of the time.
Right.
And, how do you handle all of that of juggling your life and being a nurse and all the challenges associated with that?
I, I think it's easier said than done. I think I maybe haven't always been the most graceful at it. I'm lucky to be surrounded by a wonderful support system, like at home, my husband, my family, friends, and then at work. Like if I come home, I can't always share information and they may not understand truly what I went through. So I think it's also good at work that maybe we just have a happy hour together or we have a book club together to try and stay connected in another way to stay bonded and help support us. Um, because it is important to take care of yourself, right? And for me, also finding that balance, like get outside, get moving, like try to find ways to let go of the stress of what we've been through at work. And I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
Yeah, you talk about like taking care of yourself. We see with a lot of nurses, they struggle with that because nurses are inherently caregivers. I mean, they're caregivers at work, but then many of them are moms and they're caregivers at home. And so, for a lot of them to prioritize their own wellness in some way, that's difficult to do. So, I appreciate you sharing, some of that conversation about that. You talk about your new role. What would you say the biggest difference is in your new role compared to like critical care?
Well, it's just one of the amazing things about nursing is there's just so many different types of nurses. So it's really hard to compare them because I mean, I do use some of my critical care skills and everything, but it's just a very different style of nursing. And not to say it doesn't have its own stress or its own, but the nice thing about nursing is if it's not working out for you, I'd say for other nurses, like there's so many different avenues you can go on. And yeah, I don't know. It's been a good change. So
Well, thank you for sharing that. I too am a career changer, so I can totally relate. Um, but one question we like to ask is if you could give advice to other nurses who want to improve the quality of life of others, whether it be their patients, fellow coworkers, or just people in their community, what would you suggest? How would you suggest they get started?
um well, probably first and foremost, back to what we were just touching on a little bit before is just take care of yourself. Like you said, it's easy as caregivers, and I know I do it. We always are taking care of others and put ourselves at least from my perspective, often put ourselves last. And that's not okay, right? Like so I'm continually working on, I'd say, just make yourself a priority, do those things to take care of yourself. And in return, it will make you a better caregiver for others. And then the other thing I'd say is just listen to people. They have a story to tell. And whether it's your patient or their family or your kid or friends, whoever, it's amazing to me when I'm in a situation with someone and I think I know what's going on and I have my own truths and biases of what may be going on. But if you just listen to what the other person's version of the same exact scenario, same situation that they're in there with may look totally different. And you may not even have thought of their perspective or to listen to what they have to say about it. So just listen. Like people have a story to tell and they want to be heard. And yeah.
I love
Well,
that.
congratulations again on winning this award. We love acknowledging nurses exactly like you. We feel like you're underappreciated in general in most of the health systems and kind of society in general. So that's why we sponsor our Quality of Life Nurse Award. We do send out a $500 award. So we will be sending that out as part of this. And we appreciate you taking a few minutes to share your story with us.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
All right.
All
Bye.
right, bye.